Big Questions with the Dead Milkmen.
The human nose can detect millions of fragrances, and many of those smells are associated with memories and emotions. The question for this week is, what are some of your favorite odors, and what do they evoke, if anything, that make them pleasant for you? One of my very favorite smells is the smell of tomato plants. I don't know if you know, but if you rub a tomato plant leaf, it gives off a very peculiar scent, which I happen to love. For me, it evokes the peak of summer, being a kid, not going to school, having freedom to do whatever you want during the day. My dad had a garden and he grew a lot of tomatoes, and I spent time picking tomatoes and grinding them up or smashing them up for tomato sauce in the late summer. And I guess those are good, happy memories, because otherwise, why do I like that smell? I don't know. I like it. I also like the smell of freshly cut grass. Another spring or summer smell. Mowing the lawn was the first chore I had as a kid that I actually got paid for. And maybe that has something to do with why I like the smell. I don't know. But I could use that money and buy baseball cards and wacky packs and 45s, 7-inch records. I recently learned that fresh grass scent is dispelled by grass as a sort of distress signal. So you might say it's like the olfactoral version of screaming. So perhaps liking that scent is pretty sadistic of me. I still like it. On the website Science ABC, I read that the scent attracts predatory wasps, which attack insects and caterpillars that feed off the grass. So you could say that scent is also a self-defense mechanism. I'm not sure how scientists figured that out, but it makes sense. And finally, a smell I really like is the smell of my own farts. Oddly, I don't like the smell of other people's farts, but I like my own. What does it evoke? Is it pride? Is it satisfaction? I really made that smell on my own. My body is amazing. As long as I'm alone and not with other people, I like it.
I'm gonna agree with most of those that you said. Yeah, in grass, there was a probably like 25 years ago or so. I think it might have been Gap or some kind of. So they made a perfume that was like grass, and it actually was, really was. I don't know, or maybe I imagined that. I like the smell of gasoline, and what it evokes is reminds me of summer, going up to our summer place where my family has a boat that requires gasoline. The irony is that I really don't like gasoline engines, and I think we've discussed this before in a big question, as a matter of fact. But that smell, it reminds me, no matter where I am, like what kind of gas station or wherever, like a riot or something, that smell reminds me of summer. I also, I like lavender smell. It reminds me of our wedding. We had like tons of lavender for our wedding, but it's just always around too. And I don't get tired of it. I really like it. And they say it has calming, quality or whatever that means. And then I chose a smell that I really don't like, but I was kind of fascinated with, and I've never smelled it since. But it was when I worked for a photo lab many years ago, and the chemicals that we used to print or to process the negatives and to print the pictures, like the combination of them. There's, ammonia, like really strong smelling ammonia, where it like, it's like a feeling more than a smell. It's like, like these chemicals really like, I think I even talked about this before too. I'm fascinated with this smell because it's more than a smell. It's like, I don't know, a mega smell. It just goes right to your brain, like stereo smell. And then you feel it behind your eyes. That's it.
There was a rehearsal spot in Northern Liberties years ago that Baby Flamehead played at, and it was the guitar player's mom's photo studio, and it always smelled like photochemicals. So that's what I associate with that smell. So I mean, it's kind of a pleasurable memory of that place. So
I enjoyed the job. I worked there I was like 19 years old. I worked there for like 4 years or so. But it was in getting rid of them, you know, because the combination of them and switch.
And back then you just poured them down the drain, right? No no disposal safely or anything.
Oh Lord, no! It was a mop sink even. Yeah, it probably lead pipes too. You know.
Probably. Okay. I love the smell of napalm. No, it smells like victory. No, actually related to that, I love the smell of jet fuel. I love driving by the airport and smelling the jet fuel on a particular day because to me, it reminds me of travel with my family. The first big trip that we took to Europe was when I was about 8 in the late 60s. And I just have a strong sense of that smell reminding me of travel. I'm actually on that same trip. One of the sort of smell memories that I have from that trip is we landed in London and we got off the plane and we took a BOAC bus to some terminal in London, and we remember getting off the bus and walking down these stairs and the smell of the London buses, like the diesel fuel or whatever, just makes me think of traveling like that too. So I like that smell. I like the smell of the ocean. I like being along the shore, the beach. I like that sea salt air smell, beach smell. I also like a lot of cooking, like Joe, tomato plants smell great too. But I also like, one of my favorite smells is basil, fresh basil leaves, and garlic, and another cooking smell is mint. I love mint. Getting mint, making fresh mint iced tea is a great smell. It makes me think of cooking, which I like to do. I've talked about that before. It also reminds me of my mom because she used to make this great iced tea with mint, fresh mint leaves from our garden. Those are some of the smells that I like.
For me, actually, it's not that exciting. It's pretty common. I'm surprised and glad that nobody else hit upon it, but I truly love the smell of cocaine. And I think I love the smell of cocaine because when you're smelling cocaine, you're doing cocaine. And it reminds you of that time you did cocaine. Or it might remind you of the time that you bought some cocaine and then you did some cocaine. It's like the only smell that transforms from an adjective to a verb very quickly. I mean, it's not like anybody ever goes and they smells like a flower or a cookie, and then they pace around the house till 3 a.m. and then they call their friends and they start talking about how Ed Begley Jr. doesn't look that good anymore. I'm sincerely worried about Ed Begley Jr. I love the smell of cocaine so much that I once wrote the Glade Company and I asked them to make one of those air fresheners to plug in the wall that does the smell of cocaine. And this is the letter that they sent back to me. Okay. And the scary thing, that's my hand. That's my hand. I don't know how the fuck they did that. It's freaking me out. But they're not going to do it, apparently. And I have a theory, too, that I'm not the only one who likes the smell of cocaine. Because if you turn on the radio, all the alt rock bands sound like Fleetwood Mac. And the only way you can enjoy Fleetwood Mac is if you are on cocaine. So I think not only did these like hipsters at Pitchfork find their parents' vinyl collection, but they also found their stash. So that is it. The best smell, in fact, the only smell is cocaine. And if you disagree with me, I'd like to introduce you to my little friend. And scene. The cocaine sketch, ladies and gentlemen, the cocaine sketch. Thank you.
I mean, if I just gave you a container of baby powder, you would start hopping around the room.
I'm going to be hopping around the room no matter what. I'm wired for life. Yeah. I think they could probably use that to calm me down.
You're snorting chalk over there.
Hey, you kids get away from that. That's not meant for you. Yeah. Imagine all the work I could get done if they had made a cocaine scented air freshener. Like I could just write so many songs, maybe a concept album about Ed Begley Jr. I don't know.
That was like one time I saw incense. It said marijuana. I was like, why, wait, so why would you? Okay. So you're not smoking marijuana, you're just burning an incense. I want it to smell like marijuana in my room. My RA's coming down.
That's what I thought, the RA. Oh, no, it's only this incense. Well, you're still allowed to burn stuff in your room.
I like the smell of marijuana flower, the buds, but I don't really like the smell of the burning.
No, Vienna and I, because we're out of it, we don't do that. So somebody in our neighborhood was smoking it, and we didn't know that's what it was, and we thought the sewer lines were backed up because it was like that skunky weed. So we called the city, and the city came and flushed it. And it wasn't until like, you know, they're flushing the stuff and watching it go through the lines and everything, and like, no, it's nothing wrong with the sewer pipes. I'm like, we keep getting the smell. And then one day I went down in the subway, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, like everything came together.
They just opened a dispensary near you, didn't they? Like last year or something?
I think there's one up the road because I see it's heavily guarded. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure that marijuana, and I don't buy it, but I'm pretty sure it's not that expensive, but they don't need a guard outside. I don't know if anyone's ever going to rob the weed place.
They have to have guards because they can only let people in who have the medical marijuana card.
Yeah, it's not even just a 21 and up. You have to have your card.
Yeah, but the guards are only like 3 feet tall and they're blue and they kiss you like this. If you do anything, it's bad, man. It's bad.
Just wait till the psilocybin dispensaries with the magic mushrooms.
Ooh, I can't wait. Would you like to do recommendations?
I would recommend that.
I think we have to.
Okay. I would like to recommend Pollinator Wildflower seeds, Wildflower blend. Only $2 at the Dollar General. It's a whole box of.
It's $2 at the dollar store. Something went wrong there.
Well, you know. Okay. There are 47 different types of seeds in here, and they're blended with I don't know, inert material, so that makes them easy to spread.
Cocaine.
It might be cocaine. I don't know.
Is that from the snow-capped Brazilian baby powder company?
The American Seed Company makes this. I planted these last year. I'm trying them again this year. If you plant them in spring, different flowers will bloom at different times. So you'll have continually blooming. Some look like weeds. Your neighbors might tell you, oh, you got a bunch of weeds, but they're not weeds. You planted them for real. They're wildflowers. But what's good about them is that they attract bees and butterflies and other pollinating insects. And that's actually good if you have a vegetable garden too, because it's good to attract.
You need to plant the full moon. I know a coven of witches that'll come out and help you. I really do. So yeah. So I'm just saying, if you want to plant in the full moon, you'll be sky clad. But I really do. I know a lot of witches actually. But I'm just saying, if you need help with that, let me know. Yeah.
There's hyssop, there's sweet alyssum, there's aster, there's dairy, there's zinnias, there's all kinds of stuff mixed in one box.
That's fun.
$2.
Like sea monkeys.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get where.
Life is like a box of sea monkeys. All right, is that
that's all.
The man who sold sea monkeys was a neo-Nazi. But he was also Jewish, so obviously he had some issues. Yeah, look him up sometime. It's a fascinating story. He created a bunch of those gimmicky things and then stumbled upon sea monkeys and then was like giving them the money to the American Nazi Party. Oh, my head.
What exactly are sea monkeys?
Sea monkeys are brine shrimp. I used to take them in the sea monkey bag at the bars, and I would put them in beer and drink them.
How are they like? Is it like in Batman '66 where like all the security council's all dehydrated and then
it's like that. If you ever go to the Great Salt Lake, they put a chrysalis. Yeah, they form a chrysalis around themselves when it gets dry out, and then when it rains and the salt lake goes up, they come back out, and that's their life cycle. I don't
know. I'm a little suspicious of these sea monkeys, especially knowing that a neo-Nazi or a regular Nazi was.
He's not a regular Nazi because he started out Jewish. He's got issues. Seriously, look him up. Look up the guy. I'm not making up. There's tons of videos and stuff.
I'd like to recommend some recent like breathing techniques that I've learned and like relaxation stuff. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but just in general, if you like hold, to start, just like lay down and close your eyes, hold your breath, and then let it go. Do that a couple times, and then start squeezing like your feet or your toes together, like tense all your muscles in your feet for like 5 seconds, and then let go. Do that in your legs. Do that, lower legs, upper legs, all the way to the top. And if you do that like every day, it helps a lot with, it helps a lot just to get through the day, but it helps when you have like anxiety and other things that you have trouble, working through without them. So I would recommend those. I could maybe send a link for something if I find it. I'd also recommend checking out the Hheadaches YouTube Earth Day video. Today's Earth Day, but not while you're watching this. So it's after Earth Day. After sounds like a L. Ron Hubbard book. So that's
thank you, Lord Zemo.
Yeah, so that really quick though, that Hheadaches video, it's like music that Joe and Brian and I made a long time ago. And the video was when I was working for somebody and I had to get rid of all this metal. And I went to a scrapyard and I just was tossing it. And that's what that is in the video. If you look at it. And I'm done.
I would like to recommend the Stanley FATMAX 25, which happens to be this. Okay, this is a tape measure.
Yeah, is that the magnet? It's a magnetic one.
Something, right?
I don't think it. Well, it has a
on the bottom,
whatever. But it's heavy duty. It's got an inch wide.
It's wider than most tape,
and it's 25 feet long. It's not like a wimpy 10 or 12 footer. It's like it's very yeah. I recommend it. We're doing some home improvement stuff around here right now, and it's been very handy for taking room measurements and stuff and figuring out this, that, and the other. So I recommend you get yourself a good solid tape measure. It's a good thing to have in your household toolbox or your apartment or wherever.
And with any projects, Dean, let me know.
That's my recommendation for the week.
Cool.
And serious FaceTime. First of all, a massive congratulations to Stacey Abrams, who was just today nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. So excellent, Stacey. And then the other thing I'd like to recommend, and this is the second recommendation on the show, Mr. Benn Jordan, who we've talked about before. Ben actually has, and it's Earth Day, so I figured I'd talk about this. He has a video out about a very toxic substance that is quite prevalent in music. A lot of bands and musicians will talk about how we have to save the trees and the earth, and then they'll say, and don't forget to buy our fracking equipment. And this is along the same sort of lines in a way. So I'll recommend this. I'll send out the link. You folks will know what it is, but I was not aware of the toxicity of certain substances until this. So, and as always, Ben comes through again. Last time I saw him, he was out in the Everglades recording alligators. He has the most interesting life. Ben rolls. But yeah, please check this out. Hopefully it'll make a lot of musicians think, although thinking comes about as naturally to musicians as operating an electron microscope. So that's that.